There
right.
it is.
Wow.
We're rocking today. How we
What's
doing,
going
Dustin?
on, brother?
Oh, just another beautiful day. Oh, we're going to be dealing with a couple technical difficulties off the bat. Apologize there.
Oh, all good, man. I did a throwback podcast from my office.
Look
today.
at that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
We're
Yeah,
back home. That's what you're saying is you're back home.
Man, home sweet home, dude. Holy shit at the traveling.
Where were we this week?
This past week, I was in Detroit, Michigan,
Okay.
at SEMA Garage. I was there with IGL and Rupes
Awesome.
for a training event. I was there representing Detail Bookie and spoke about business, and then did a demo on the software for all the guys. And then, of course, Rupes did their thing. Sarah, huge shout out to her for putting on a phenomenal training. And then, of course, IGL, Mike and Marcus, they always kick ass showing how to use the products that IGL has, all the ceramics. And they went over the whole product line, man, which was really cool. So good training, man. Good training.
That's awesome. So SEMA, right? Everyone knows SEMA for the big show, right? So SEMA Garage is, what can you tell me about that? Obviously sounds a little different avenue there.
Yeah, man. So kind of mind blowing. I had no idea SEMA even had a garage. I thought it was just a car show. And I think most people, it was just not just a car show, but like the car show. But so yeah, and then when I heard they had a garage, I'm like, okay, this is a tax write-off, right? Like what does SEMA need with a garage? But there is a purpose. And by the way, this shop was first class, top notch, beautiful. Their main purpose is to test products that are designed by SEMA members and how they affect like the autonomous driving and what else? Oh, emissions, how like intakes and exhaust affect emissions. So they actually do a lot of stuff there, and they do it for SEMA members. And the unique thing about this is the shop is available for SEMA members to use. I do have to schedule it and stuff, but like we were the first people to use the shop outside of the SEMA people, like the employees. And so IGL, I think Mike Carlin actually set it all up, and we used the garage. We used the training class, which was phenomenal. The classroom, man, it was beautiful. They had the refrigerator stocked with water and Coke. I mean, it's just, I was looking for the Michelob Ultra. They didn't have any. So,
yeah. You know what's interesting? SEMA, the brand, that show is all about branding. Bless you there. But in terms of like the branding of SEMA, right, it's interesting how they're using these different avenues to sort of, hey, it's not Joe Schmo's garage. It's the SEMA garage, right? It's top of the line when you think of the car show, right? Yeah. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is, and it's first class. I mean, they spared no expense, and it was all done to a T. So, but it's perfect to bring us into our topic on branding, for sure. This week we wanted to talk about brands, and we want to talk about like suppliers and how do detailers. Some detailers really sell out on advertising the brand products that they use, ceramics, tools, other chemicals, and then some choose not to use that at all. And I think the conversation wanted to be had was, what's your thoughts on that, Nick? How do you feel about, advertising the brands, other brands outside of your own? What is your take on it? And I think that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today.
I think it's pretty interesting. So we use Expel, right? But, we want people coming to us because of Splash, right? And I think it's a really cool balance for a lot of businesses, big and small, of trying to decide which brands to promote within the business, right? And which ones are part of your business, but not necessarily promoted. Yeah. And I think something like Expel is, we're a car wash, we're a detail center, ceramic coating, PPF, but we get a lot of foot traffic, right? So we're getting 200, 300 people coming through a day. And, we've gone through different, ceramic coatings, and having a brand like Expel to partner with, the conversion rate has been really successful of, hey, wait a second, Expel, they can look them up. They've got marketing material. It gives people a way to go from, hey, not knowing, it's the education part, right? Without having someone to sell it.
Yeah, so customer can take that information and then go do a little homework rather than sit there and ask you a million questions about it. So that allows you the content, the information that Expel has, and the brand name gives that customer confidence and information to make their decision. That's not just Nick, the salesman, selling a product.
And I think when someone's talking, and again, we're not going to make this a ceramic coating show, but a ceramic coating, you know, for $1,000, right? Someone's making a big ticket purchase. They're like, okay, hey, I trust going to EZN. I trust going to Splash already, right? And then you're going to give them that extra confidence of, oh, hey, they're partnering with a publicly traded company. You know what I mean? It just elevates your brand. You know, if you're doing anything with a brand, I think it's always trying to elevate yourself some way along the road there.
You know, this is an interesting approach that you've had on this, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's polar opposite of what I originally thought of brands. Like when I started detailing, Ceramic Pro was like the big thing. And they contacted me, but they wanted me to, you know, advertise their stuff, use their packages, like, you know, use their pricing, and I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm selling my service. And so I went the hard way, I feel like. I went like, I'm going to build my brand.
Yeah.
And so, but I've never really heard it explained the way that you did. And it makes sense, right? So it's not like we are the detail shop for this brand, but we are the detail shop that uses this brand. And this brand is what's going to establish some confidence. So I think your thought there is right. But I still think we have the other side of it. Where retailers are like, and like, again, we don't want to go solely ceramic coating, but I think the obvious is a lot of it leans towards that and PPF. So like, let's just say, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, okay, let's go the days before ceramic, right? Let's go waxes for a little bit, because you know what I mean? A big part of our branding was got wax, right? Like the got milk on the back of our shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for us, it's choosing, hey, are we using Turtle Wax? Are we using Meguiar's, right? Which are going to be more mainstream waxes, which is fine, but it's got name recognition. They've got millions of dollars of branding behind those names, which is going to, you know, it's for the consumer.
It adds
Exactly. Well, and versus like one of my favorite waxes to use on a show car is Swiss Wax. I don't know if you've heard of them. And again, they've got a phenomenal product. But you know what was interesting is I'm talking 5-7 years of seeing what the consumer wants in our area. It's different in every area, right? But people are like, yeah, great. Give me Turtle Wax, give me Meguiar's, give me, you know, the brand that they're able to recognize. I think that was the main reason we were like, hey, even though Swiss Wax, in my opinion, has a superior product, people do get attracted to that name. And then you're looking at, again, let's say there's 100 people, maybe 75, 85. They're not going to necessarily be doing a ton of research on specific detailing products, right? Those consumers just want the job done and done well.
That's right.
And then when you bring in a brand, you're now focusing on those other 15%, those other 15 people that are educated, and they are going to be. And that's what all these detailing shops are competing for. You know, they're trying to get those educated customers and create the best service for them, because those are the ones that are going to truly elevate your business.
Yeah. So I love your thought process on this, to build your brand with other brands, the validity that they already have in the market, you know, and so it's not the, I am the Turtle Wax, I'm Turtle Wax Mobile, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't put a big turtle on our
EZN that uses Turtle Wax. So like, even relating to a mechanic shop, they use Snap-on tools. They'll have a Snap-on banner.
Yeah.
They're not the Snap-on mechanic shop. They're the mechanic shop that, we use a great quality tool. We pay a lot of money for this. We're proud of it.
Yeah.
There's a distinction. However, I do think that there's a lot of detailers that lean heavy on the other side, and they want to just sell out on that branding and basically ditch their brand and say, I am the IGL of Mobile, or I am the Pro or System X of Mobile. And that's what we want to talk about and understand, like, you know, how that may not be the best approach for your business.
Yeah. And again, it's the your business part. But you know what's funny? In every market, you know what I mean? You can have one business be like, hey, I am the Expel, you know what I mean? Versus, you know, Expel dealer in the area. or you know what I mean? Or not even mention you use Expel and say, hey, you're coming to ABC Detailing, right? And that's the only thing you market. You don't even tell them you use Expel, right? There's room for both sides.
Sure.
And it's just really kind of the direction you're trying to go, and balancing your services, and you know, it really sort of just depends on the business.
But at the end of the day, I think you have to acknowledge your own brand, and it needs to be prominent. So like me, there would never be another brand that I would fly their flag higher than mine. You know what I mean?
Yep, I think that's
going to be bigger.
Yep.
My banner's going to be higher.
Yep.
Because my brand is what I want my customer to remember. So if XPEL or if IGL or System X or whatever brings them in the building,
Yep.
I want them to leave knowing that Easy End did the work. You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So I think that young detailers and new guys need to understand that yes, you get value out of advertising these really good brands. And I keep going to IGL, but I know how their products look and how professional everything is. And so like to be proud of that is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want your customer to leave going, this is the XYZ shop. You need to think this is Easy In slash, fill in the blank for your shop. That's the brand that's doing my work.
And the other side of it is again, I think most, detail shops, there's going to be always a wholesale aspect to it. And I think that's important to touch on, right? We've got a wholesaler by us, love them. They do a phenomenal job. But it's also trying to control how much branding you do for other products, right? We're not necessarily there pushing, hey, guess which tire shine and which car soap we're using, right? We've got wholesale providers for the I would even say 95 to 99% of everything else we use that isn't getting pushed out to the consumers, right? Yep. And I think that's also like, hey, don't go and push everything, because again, just the consumers are going to get overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Rupes, Expel, IGL, right? These things that are going to be brand names inside of the market, I think is interesting to elevate your own brand. But don't just go and push a brand that maybe wouldn't have that positive effect long term.
Well, let's think about it this way. What if you build the backbone of your business on the brand, on a coating or a tool or whatever that you use, and then that business changes or goes out of business?
Yeah.
Okay. Now all of a sudden, my promise to my customers has been this brand. This is what got me to where I'm at. Now all of a sudden I got to back up and go, oh, wait a minute. And then I have this backlash of customers going, well, you put this on my car. Are you going to be able to support it? And of course we can. And of course we will. So I think you have to really acknowledge these things and say, if I'm using it to get them in the door, fine. If I'm using it to build confidence for my customers, no problem. They got marketing. You can piggyback it. You can use some of that stuff. But you got to be sending it home. Who's doing the work? Who's really guaranteeing it? Because we can talk warranties and all that mess too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all that squash. It's going to be Dustin Jackson, Easy In, that's doing the work to fix anything, no matter what.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. The quick pivot I think that's going to be interesting to take here as well with this branding is Splash versus Splash featuring Nick, right? Easy In versus Easy In, which is Dustin. You know what I mean? And I think that was something that we really I struggled with over the last few years of not separating myself from the business, but it's creating that barrier from the face-to-face with the customers, because I'm working on other projects as well. How did you sort of handle that?
Well, first of all, I think this is absolutely another show too. I think that we dive so deep into separating yourself from your brand, because it is very difficult. When you've built it, just like if you're using another brand product, if you built it using, I am the face, I'm the answer of all, I'm the reason you're coming here. And then, by the way, you pull that out. And say, believe in Easy In now.
They're going to be like, wait a second.
Transition period that takes some time. But you're absolutely right. A lot of effort has gone on my behalf of pulling myself out of the business a little bit, out of the face. And I'm still the face of the company, but out of the day-to-day customer interaction.
Correct.
And even though I'm still here and operating and an owner operating, it's a conscious effort. And like I said, this is the whole show. So I really look forward to that conversation too.
The one quick thing I'll say is what I ended up doing was just hiring only people named Nick. You know what I mean? Everybody at the phone was named Nick.
Well, I hired a Dustin, so
yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just hire, whoever's next to the phone, their name is Nick too. So they're like, hey, make sure that they know what they're doing. And they're like, wait a second, are you Nick that I usually see? No, but I've got you covered. Don't worry. Do you need to talk to Nick? And then they come get me. So,
a unique thing we did, and absolutely, like that's exactly like changing the way they call, who they call, how much you give them. Like, I think that there's a whole conversation on it. I do want to say one thing though. Think about this. So one thing we did in our shop was we buy a lot of our bulk chemicals from S&N Products. Good friend of mine, locally owned, locally manufactured, actually.
Yep.
And so like our degreasers, acids, quartz soaps, blah blah blah. We buy from them, but we rebottle here and we put our brand on those bottles.
Yeah.
When you go into my shop, you don't see S&N Products on my carts. You see Easy N's degreaser, Easy N's car wash soap, whatever.
Yep.
And it's with intent. So in my pictures, it's subliminal. So like everything is branded Easy N because that's what I want you to remember. I'm not saying it's right, and I think there's probably just as good as to have ADG products all over your cart, and that's a great brand,
Yeah. And so I guess there's two different parts to that, right? White labeling, right? Which is, again, just, having a manufacturer make the product for you and putting Splash on the logo. Again, there's a total retail aspect to that because you have that brand trust, which again, if you stand by the product, absolutely should be able to sell it to your consumers there. The other part of it, which I think is really interesting too, is, like you said, the subliminal messaging of just having your branding on everything. And again, we fall short there. I'll be completely honest with you. Our bottles are blank. We just fill our bottles. We're not necessarily
Sharpie marker. Yeah.
No, well, they're color coded, so hopefully we don't crazy. But I actually really like that idea of putting that branding on the bottles of just Splash, of Easy N, and in terms of as many wherever those eyeballs are at.
Yeah, you couldn't. So we wouldn't sell the bottles like that. We're not putting all this safety information. We have the SDS sheets in our chemical fill room readily available to our detailers. But we've designed a neat, nice, Easy N logo, degreaser, and then what they would use it typically for, what our detailers know it as.
Gotcha.
You wouldn't go on the shelf of the store to sell retail, but we want it because it's in pictures all the time. It's all these bottles are around, so the uniform look of that look good, but we are hyper focused on selling Easy N service.
I love that. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's all right, by the way. I love your thoughts on how to use the power of other brands to build your brand.
Yeah. Don't let it be the other way around.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was interesting, like what you said when you started with Ceramic Pro, because I think Ceramic Pro's model, nothing against them, I haven't used their ceramic, but I think they were going to be piggybacking a little bit off of these other detail shops and brands to elevate Ceramic Pro, and they've done a really good job of that.
That's what they've done. Yeah, multi-level marketing, and they've used you to do it.
Yeah. And now making sure that you're in control with these brands of, hey, guess what? Yeah, we'll let people know we're using this Expel, but that's to elevate our service.
That's right.
There's nothing that's just going to have Expel without Splash right next to it. And we took a lot of conscious effort to make sure that was, a focus as well.
Yeah, same here. By the way, we fly banners. Loud and proud. We got some IGL banners in our shop. We got some system in our shop. Rupes, Merca, the product that we use. We fly high, and let
me ask you this. You know what? Let's go a little just umbrella topic there. How much do you think, in terms of the consumer, right? Does the Expel, does the Rupes, and then how much does the Splash and the Easy N branding really impact the consumer, in your opinion? Because this is just an opinion.
I think it's a certain point. Right. When I think when it starts to grow past you, that's when it starts to matter more.
Yeah.
When it's just you, owner, operator, are they referring to Easy N or Dustin? Probably Dustin.
Yeah.
And none of this other stuff really matters. Dustin can use whatever he wants on my car because Dustin knows best. Right. You're a professional. You've sold them on that, and that's fine. Okay. But when you get to grow past yourself, then your brand needs to take over. And
Yeah.
that's where it is. And look, until I hired Madison, our marketing director, our brand was a little all over the place. And she was
Yeah.
one of the first ones that said, Dustin, you gotta, you need consistency in it. So
Yeah.
it's not just throwing the logo everywhere.
Yeah.
It's consistency. It's the colors throughout. It's the colors throughout everywhere. And so it matters once you grow.
And the one point that I was sort of thinking along the lines is, as you grow, right, you're there now. It's those new customers or those impulse buys, right? That when you're at that scale, you need to have the scalability of customers as well. So you're having people type in detail shop near me, right?
Absolutely.
You're having people, hey, boat detail near me.
Yep.
And making sure that, hey, again, what are they going to do? They're going to check the reviews. They're going to check some pictures and be like, okay, cool. I think they'll check the price, right? Pictures, reviews, price. They might not even know the name of the place, right? They just go put it. And that's the part that I struggle with, of trying to understand better. Absolutely. You're going to have people loyal to the brand, and they're only going to go to EZN. They're only going to go to Splash. Absolutely. Those new customers, right? You don't have a built-in trust with them,
Nope.
right? They're using what's available to them to gather as much information about you, right? So this is where, we'll go a little bit of marketing, conversation here, where it's like, hey, are you elevating your brand online, right? Without, again, the splash, like EZN is subliminary, right? They're seeing it everywhere.
Yep.
But are they grabbing it and trusting it off the bat? Probably not.
Probably
Right?
not.
So it's like, what are those?
At that point? Yeah.
What are those other things that builds that loyalty and that trust for a new customer, right? And I think that's interesting with the branding, because maybe they don't know Splash, but they know Expel, and that elevates Splash, right?
Yeah. Well, they relate too, yeah, and then also being a supplier of something that's like that has, I'm just drawing an absolute blank, but it has like an area that you can't sell. Another customer can't sell this, or another provider can't sell this brand inside that. So, let's just say 303, for instance, it's a product that we use. It's well known in the marine industry.
Yeah.
If I'm the only certified 303 installer in this area, then I want to tell people that, because
Absolutely.
So I think there's some, I think that there's use cases, right? And if you're selling to a new customer that doesn't know EZN, but yes, they know 303. Yes, they know whatever. I think that there's an area that makes sense, but how much do we do that? Like, how connected to these brands are we to our brand? How much, how much is too much?
Yeah. And what's funny is, for me, the acquisition of the customer, right? Splash won't be able to just acquire someone straight off the street. I don't think any brand in a small community can, like someone that just moved in the area. Okay, I've never heard of Splash from Florida.
We're not Walmart, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So what I think is interesting is the Splash EZN ABC Detail brand is about retaining the customer. Yeah. Right. It's about the long-term effect. That's where the branding is really has its value, in terms of my opinion. But that's sort of the way I see it.
Let me tell you, let's speak to one other little thing here. And I think it's loyalty in the brands that you're using. So these guys are very guilty of having 10 different ceramic coatings, 4 different PPF providers.
Yeah.
And business is about relationships, right?
Yep.
And building that relationship and coming to know what that relationship, what you get out of it. And I think it's extremely important. So when you unite with a brand and y'all are doing business, to remain loyal to that company and all has value.
Yeah.
And you can, I told somebody the other day, if you got 10 coating companies and you fall on hard times and you've been mixing it here and there, and you need a favor, okay? Yeah. I need some product, and I don't have the cash today. Can you help me? These people don't know you. You've ordered $1,000 from one of them over the year. But if you spend $15 or $20 or $10,000 with one company, and I'll use Joel Pomfrey, this is a good friend of mine, and I said, Joel, I'm in a pinch. I got a 100-foot boat to do. I need some product, and I need the favor here. Bet your sweet ass, if I spent $20,000 with him this year, Joe probably delivering it himself, because I know I would. and he's like, hey, let's work this out. And I'm not saying
Joe's on the way right now. He's
Yeah.
listening. He's on the way right now.
yeah, I'm not saying everybody call Joel and ask for product, but what I'm saying is you build those relationships.
Yep.
And so to be loyal, that don't mean that you can't try things here or there, but to
Mhm.
be loyal to a brand has more value than just exclusivity.
Mhm.
It's I built a relationship with this person. I've spent
Yeah.
money with this person. I've spent time with these people. They know me. I'm more than just a number on the books.
Yeah.
And that is important. And I think to align yourself with a brand that has similar, Rupes, is a excellent tool, an
Yeah.
excellent tool. And I'm not taking away from Flex because my buddies over at Flex will be hating on me right now too. Their company values align so well with ours. It's like, man, and their colors look similar, so that always helps. But it's I'll not only deliver it does see what I'm talking about. that's a friend right there.
Yeah, he's on his way right now.
Yeah, and that's look, they gave me chills. That's my buddy. I mean, that's my brother. And like I can't say enough about that. But choosing to align with certain companies to do business with and to be loyal with has so much more value than just exclusivity because I like the color of their bottle.
Yeah. So the one thing that I was thinking about as I'm looking at the poster behind me, right? It's a little Porsche poster, right? We went and redid our whole lobby, right, with vintage Porsche posters. It looks phenomenal. But again, we don't have any dealership or any, dealership accounts, or we don't work with Porsche specifically. Yeah. Now it's thinking about, hey, not necessarily just detailing products, but what about other brands that can elevate your business, right? There's nothing against Honda. I drive, we've got a Honda too, but it's like, why did I not just put a bunch of Honda posters? You know what I mean? Like, hey, can I do things to give it that intrinsic value of when you walk into our shop, right? Kind of like we talked with SEMA, right? Mm-hmm. It's doing all these little things. So when someone walks in and there's a 1,200 gallon fish tank, right? There's Porsche posters all over the wall, and it's creating that effect of they're like, wow, this just blows every other place away, and picking and choosing which brands is going to bring your business up, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah, what else is cool is even your uniform. So like I went out and bought all of our detailers on Cloud. Well-known shoot. Now they didn't hold up that great. That was actually a flop on my pack. But thought of my guys walking around. I mean, we did a whole photo shoot with them and everything. Why? Because OnCloud is a good brand and it made us look better. So we're using other brands and building ours up. So I guess in a way,
it's kind of just, and again, they're going to get value from it too. You know what I mean? It goes, as long as it's a two-way street, right? It's maybe we're going to go sell a Porsche because someone's there and they're looking at it and they had nostalgia. They're all 1990s, Porsche posters. And that's fine. But when someone comes in and they see that brand, they're going to be like, okay, hey, I've got this classic or expensive car. This is the only place I want to wash it. And then that leads me into thinking, hey, guess what? Why not make sure that brand leaves your shop? Right. I think that was one of my main focuses for this year. And that was, how the Jeeps have those little ducks in them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we're going and we're going to have a Jeep day and we're going to go put a bunch of splash ducks in these Jeeps.
Great. What a great idea.
So it's small, it's little, you know what I mean? But is your brand leaving the shop?
What a phenomenal idea. I love that.
Easy End's about to snag that one, right?
I wanted more of it. Hey, I got a question. You're wearing a Nike shirt. Do you think Tiger Woods built Nike or did Nike build Tiger?
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's the same thing. I just watched that Jordan documentary.
Oh man, I've been wanting to watch it.
You got to watch that. It was really good. I'm not going to give any spoilers away. It was really good. And I think, again, athletes in sports, you know what I mean? These guys Nike's going and grabbing these athletes because it elevates their brand, right? And these athletes
validate.
Exactly. So I don't know. I think these brands are just, they're everywhere.
They are. And I think it's inevitable. You're going to use other brands to elevate your brand. I think the common message of the show needs to be first and foremost, it needs to be yours, right?
Yeah.
It can be yours in conjunction with, it can be yours using this. It can be, I am the provider of this because it's exclusive in my area. But at the end of the day, it should start with Easy In. It should start with Splash, right?
Yeah.
It should start, the message starts with your brand. And if you finish it with theirs, that's fine.
Yep.
And I think that detailers need to understand how to use that, and don't let, like, so you should be selling your service. I know what we all are trying to justify these high ticket items and trying to put names and information on top of it so that way we can sell it. But at the end of the day, we got to learn how to sell ourselves and our service.
Yep.
Then this is a product that we use to make that service happen. And I think that there's nothing wrong with advertising the products that you use and being proud of that. But my thought is your brand should be first every time.
Yeah. Yep. I like it a lot. There was a lot of branding we had to squeeze into 30 minutes there, but I think we did a pretty good job.
Good show, man. I love this topic. I'm going to love the one, I think we need to do it next week, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to do next week needs to be how to separate, me, Dustin, or Nick from Easy In and Splash. How do you get to that point? Because it was one of the things that was very hard, and it's still very hard for me to do.
I struggle with it still. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so it's going to be a great conversation next week.
Okay. Good, Dustin. I think we gave some people some good stuff on a Friday. It's a good week. We got a nice weekend over here. How's it looking weather-wise over by you?
It looks great. Actually, I'm running a triathlon in the morning, so I'm hoping it's really good.
Okay. Get some rest. You got to have a big meal before that, right? You got to have those calories ready.
No, listen to what's happening, man. For the last 2 weeks, I've been traveling and I have eaten terrible. So carbs are. I've been unintentionally carb loading. Like, I have a little extra right around here and here.
Yeah.
The most thing I'm concerned about this triathlon is getting in my tri suit because it's and I've packed on some pounds. So.
Yeah. No, good luck there. We're expecting at least a top 5 finish. Okay.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen this time.
Awesome. Good show. We'll see you next week.
Great show. Team is traveling. Oh, here we go. Hope all's well. Both you guys, Detail Bookie has been a game changer for my business. Thanks, Dustin, for taking time in MTE to talk about Detail. Man, I'll talk about Detail Bookie anytime, Chris. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the message too. We got anything else, Chris? Any other messages you want to post up? This is Joel. Sell yourself, products, services, and company in that order. Love it, man. Wealth and knowledge, dude. And look, he's a ceramic coating brand. He wants nothing more than IGO to just be at the forefront of everything, right? That's his business. Yeah. Just Detail Bookie. Okay, we are a supplier, but I mean, all right, my buddy, Detail Billy. Okay, he loves our brand, but I've always told him every time he messages, Detail Bookie's the reason we're this. Detail Bookie's the reason. No, you're the reason you're that. Detail Bookie just helped you, and I'm
Detail Bookie's there to elevate.
Thankful for it. I'm super thankful, but we have to. Our brand has to support all that. And so, anyways, great conversation, brother. I will see you on the flip side next week.
Next week, man. Awesome.
All right, great show.